Hi, welcome to Research Pharmacy 101. I'm a little bit nervous, so just bear with me. I see most of you pretty regularly. If I don't know your name and if I don't know who you are, please come introduce yourself at the end. I think knowing who you are, putting a face with a name often helps how we communicate. Yeah, okay. Oh, I didn't know I should call pharmacy. Yes, if that's where we're starting, it kind of puts me in a little bit of stress because you're probably ready to dispense and I probably don't know what you're doing. And so that's kind of too late. So the purpose of my presentation today is to probably establish when you should call. My first objective today is to establish collaborations and make productive contributions to team-centered interdisciplinary research. I pulled that right off the poster. Basically, that's how can we work together. The next one is to explain what investigational drug services does. We'll define relationships with study team, recognize what we can do together, and then maybe identify other areas that pharmacy can help. Investigational drug services provides pharmacy oversight to all protocols that have IP, investigational product. And moving forward, I will address IP, investigational product as IP. That's what I know it as. We maintain secure storage for investigational product. We maintain the accountability logs for each protocol. We prepare and dispense IP per protocol specifications. I can also help identify dosing and when there should be a dose reduction, or are we at the right targeted dose for each patient population. However, I can help protocol when it comes to dosing. We can. We also maintain temperature logs, and I also create epic orders that is submitted to the build team so that we can have a valid order for each patient that comes through WVU medicine. That's as graphic as I get. So study coordinators, you guys are awesome. You are the backbone to the research. Without you guys, without what you do, this wouldn't happen. You have so much on your plate. High five to you. Yep. So my job is to help make your job easier and better. And so whatever we can do is what we're after. So how many send us a schedule on Thursday by noon of patients that are coming? So part of the communication effort is to that we have established is if we get that schedule by noon on Thursday for the upcoming week, we can plan. And in those, we want patient visits, and we want to know the date and time. We also want to know the protocol. We also want the site evaluation visits or site qualification visits. We also want any monitors. All of this should go on the schedule that you then forward to us. That helps us prepare for the week. Oh, that's right. So that helps us prepare for the week. And so with that, patients come first. And so if we have a heavy patient load, Roger and I do all we can to make sure we see all monitors and get to all initiation visits and all monitoring visits and all qualification visits. But we also have to understand that patients come first. And so providing us with those schedules helps us get that done. So some things that we can do together and that we want to be involved on are the qualification visits, also known as site selection visits, budgets, site initiations, site monitoring, audits, team meetings. Invite me to your team meetings. So I try to get to each team meeting at least once a month. That helps me know what's going on in your group. It's easy to get behind. I have probably about 125 protocols doing drug right now. And so in different stages, but all of those are active and all are from different teams. And so keep me in the loop. And then the Epic ordering templates. I need your input as well. So it's important that you bring pharmacy to the site qualification visits. We want to show to the sponsor how great we are. We are great. Our institution is great, and we want them to see all the aspects. We want to hear about the drug that is new to research. We want to hear if there are any unusual storage conditions or any unusual compounding things that we aren't aware of, that we don't have, we can get. We want to know what's the space, you know, how much space is this product gonna require. Space is always an issue. Space is an issue for office space. Space is an issue for storage space. Space is always an issue. One thing that's happening on October 8th, the new cancer center pharmacy is opening and we will be ready to go. But what also is in that space is more room storage space and more refrigeration space. I have, as opposed to one 2-door refrigerator, I will now have 2 2-door refrigerators plus a single door refrigerator. As opposed to one room temperature storage closet cabinet, I will now have 2 huge room temperature storage closets. I now will have a dedicated -20 freezer space, which always was an issue. And then we also doubled our -80 freezer space, because it seems like as research coming, the -80 is being requested more and more. This is also where we establish what policies we have and what policies they might need. You know, some common policies that they want right up front are our destruction policies. Our temperature excursion policy, and how we maintain and calibrate our refrigerators or our storage space, just storage space in general. So we've been selected, the protocol has gone to IRB, we've negotiated budgets. We're now ready for the site initiation visit. So when you send us the schedule by Thursday at noon, you've also put that we have a site initiation visit. So it's important that I know what protocol it is that we're going to have in the site initiation visit. I want to read that protocol. I want to be fresh and ready. I want to know the specifics of that drug. And so when I come to the table to meet them, I know what they're saying. And I can bring any questions that I have that we don't get or that we're not prepared for. You know, sponsors or monitoring companies, they want to know that you're interested in their protocol and that you can do it tip top. And so that's why I like to know what's coming. It's also the time that is established that if pharmacy has to hold the blind, there are extra steps that we have to take as pharmacy to maintain the blind. We don't want it. We don't want to unblind the PI. We don't want to unblind you if that's how the protocol dictates. We also review how the IP is stored, and we also review, we won't store use hazardous material. It's equally important to keep patients safe, but it's also equally important that I keep our employees safe, and we won't maintain those hazardous drugs that have been used. Per JCO standards, as infection control goes, I also won't take back used patient vials, bags that have gone to the floor, infusion bags that have gone to the floor and been used. Those are JCO infection risk policy or standards that we will not take those back. I also won't take inhalation devices back. Again, infection control. So also what's established at the site initiation visit is, do we have IVRS access? And I hope everyone knows here what IVRS access. IVRS access is a database that does drug assignment or confirm shipment of receipt. It's important that both Roger and I have that. You know, Roger does a great job receiving all those packages, but if he doesn't have IVRS access, we can't receive those and we can't dispense on those. Also, I am happy to do drug assignment. If a patient comes in and the study coordinator is busy, if I have IVRS access and we've established that I have IVRS access that can do drug assignment, I'm happy to help with that. But we don't want the patient waiting in the chair to say, oh, we don't have anybody that can do IVRS access. Say Sylvia's sick today and nobody checked. So let's make sure that Roger and I both have IVRS access. And then the IP manual. So not every protocol will have an IP manual or a pharmacy manual. And in these are hidden gems like, how long is this drug stable for? Or how long do you infuse it for? Not all protocols give specifications on, you need to mix this in 500 mLs, or you need to give this over an hour plus or minus 5 minutes. If I see a protocol that wants us to infuse over an hour plus or minus 5 minutes, I'm going to immediately say, can we change that to 10? Because I know what happens. That bag has 10% overfill. And if you do the calculation and it's 500 mLs, we won't finish in that plus or minus 5 minutes. I know that just by looking at it. And so it's important that we have this information. And then the last thing on this is the EPIC order. So as an institutional standard, we will, a study coordinator and myself do a double check verification, but we're also sending that to the PI. So they too can take a look at the order and make sure that they are okay with what it says prior to the patient getting this. So now we're ready to, I'm busy. We're all busy. We're all busy. So, show of hands, how many people think I know when a patient arrives? I don't. I have no idea. I know you've given me your schedule, and I know that it's easier to follow on the Beacon side than it is on the clinic side. And we try and we look for those patients. But if I'm not at my desk, I have no idea. And so when you call and say, hey, did you see the order? Nope, I didn't. And so when you call and say, hey, did you see the order I put for John Doe on protocol, blah, blah, blah. He is participant number 123. That's a great call. I am tracking exactly what you say. Again, we have 125 open protocols. I don't know it by the Galactic study. I have no idea what the Galactic study is. I have no idea what the Penelope study is. Those are cute, great names. I have no idea. Please, please, please communicate with protocol number. That's how we file. That's how we track. And so a patient has arrived. You can tell me it's protocol 123, John Doe, participant number 123. And so I can go into EPIC and verify that the order is appropriate, and that is what I'm displaying. Yes, Sheila. So what we have identified is that Roger and I are both at our computer, and I don't live at a cell phone. A cell phone is a terrible way to communicate with me. It's part of our institution policies that we do not carry our cell phone. And so I'm working out of my email or my alpha pager. And so that really is the best way. Or did I say email? Out of phone call or my alpha pager. And so if you call and I don't answer, I still don't know. I still don't know that that patient's there. And so if you're waiting on me that because you left a message on my phone, I still haven't gotten that message. And that's what we should assume, that I still have not gotten that message. And so that's when you should probably alpha page. And so both Rogers and I's pager numbers are up there. And if I'm not here, my pager has been rolled to Roger's pager, or he's carrying mine. And so we make every effort to make sure both of our pagers are covered. Does that all make sense? Yeah. It's still, they're both rolled. Mm-hmm. Those are still our numbers. Too fast? Is this okay with everybody? Okay.
Did you say that those are still your numbers?
Yep, they're still our numbers.
Did that change?
So when we moved over to, how many know that we've moved? So you can find us at the first floor of HSC. The location is really from here to that wall to the new oncology pharmacy. And so as proximity goes, because 85 to 90% of our studies are cancer driven, it's really going to be a great location for Roger and I. Come by and visit. Mm-hmm. When you send us that schedule by Thursday at noon, you could drop it off to us. Thursday at noon schedule. Okay. So patient has arrived. We've received drug. We've dispensed drug. So when that first patient arrives and we've dispensed for the first time, typically a monitor wants to come within that first month. And we're happy, and those monitoring visits go on the schedule. And so we've identified the day that they'll be here. Roger and I won't schedule a time until we look at that day and that morning of. And so often they'll want to schedule with us, but we will not. You schedule them and we'll make every effort to see them. I think in my lifetime here, I probably have not seen, I've been here for over 10 years, I probably have not seen 3 monitors. Now, I also expect them to be here for a full day. If they're here from 11 to 1, I don't know if I can see them. But if you tell me they're here at 9 o'clock and they're here at 1:30 because they have a flight out at Pitt of 4, we will make every effort to meet them. That's going to be a communication thing as well. Roger does a great job. I'll take this time. Roger does a great job. Roger takes care of all the monitor visits, and he's really great at it. He's always prepared and has everything printed or copied for them before they even sit down. He has already done drug returns. He really does that effort, and I'm really lucky to have him. Audits. Okay, so they're necessary. We must be involved. So if there is a protocol that has IP, pharmacy is going to be involved in the audit. We want to know as soon as you know. Just like you go through your folders, we need to go through ours. Our goal is to always be audit ready, but it's also necessary for us to go back through and identify anything that could have gone right or wrong, and what exactly happened, and do we have that documented. If you need copies for that audit, let us know. We will we'll do everything we can to make our site the best that it is. Policies. So these are like the 4 that we kind of live on. If you need additional policies, so often we are asked, is there a transport policy? We don't. So we fall under one medical center drive. The cancer center falls under one medical center drive. All our clinics fall under one medical center drive, unless it's out at UTC and they have specific storage space. So I'm going to segue. Anybody do offsite trials? Hi. So so if you do offsite trials, we're
Actually, I'm not doing any drug studies yet.
perfect. Shush. So if you do offsite, pharmacy has oversight on all spaces throughout the institution that has drug storage. And so before you are able to store drug, I have to come make sure that it's a secure location, double lock. Is there temperature monitoring? Who has access? And then I have to do quarterly inspections. And that is not my rule. That is governed by my department. And that is governed by pharmacy law. And so pharmacy has to have oversight. So if you are planning that, get me involved now, because I'm probably going to say, oh, you need this. And so let's do it before the drug gets here, because you're not going to be able to store it. As opposed to, let's do it before as opposed to after. All right, we've done a great job. We've worked hard. We've enrolled 82 patients. Everybody got the right dose. Everybody got it at the right time. High fives, everyone. So now it's time for a closeout visit. For pharmacy, closeout visits take a little bit longer than just a regular site monitoring visit. This is where they go through and they either destroy all IP that we have on site, or we ship back. And so when you fill out those schedules for the week and send them in on Thursday at noon, put out that there's a closeout visit. And so then we'll follow up with that monitor to say, oh, are we sending drug back? Oh, are we going to destroy it on site? If we're sending it back, they need shipping containers. We need to make sure that we have packaging, a filler. We need to make sure we have a big enough container. And then we also need to be able to get it to the dock. And so those are all helpful if we know it beforehand. So what also happens at the closeout visit is we'll make sure that all accountability logs, all drug that is either come in or dispensed in this protocol has been accounted for. We close out all accountability logs. I sign them as a pharmacy designee, or sometimes the PI is required to sign per the sponsor, and then date them. Then we'll make photocopies for that monitor to take with them. And then they'll also take copies of temperature logs from the lifetime of the IP at our institution. They'll also often want copies of all shipping confirmations, shipping receipts, confirmations. And then any note to files, deviations, we'll all put that in the closeout visit papers. Once that's all been done, we will close our binder and send it to the regulatory group that is housing this protocol, and they will marry it and close it up and store it for the longevity of the sponsor's requirements all together in one. Pharmacy will not hold any more protocols that we've closed. Does that make sense to everyone? So there's a few that we have to hold on to. And those are the protocols that are blinded. So I have a couple protocols that I still have to house because the PI is still blinded. And there's always like a couple, oh, there's an outlier. So that's the nature of what we do. You can't be surprised by an outlier in what we do. There's always seems to be one or two comes up.
Lisa,
Yeah, I'm sorry,
do
Sheila.
you want a closeout visit for an investigator-initiated trial?
You know that yes, we should, because it's a great way for us to say, you know, we've done all these. These are any of the outstanding issues that we may have had, and then we close it. We make sure the PI knows it's closed, and then we can come back to you for the housing of that. And then, you know, it's also a great way to final up any budget issues that are still out, you know. So I also do billing. And so I do all patient billing that pharmacy is involved in. And so if you haven't gotten a bill from me, let me know. Encore. How many people know Encore? We love Encore. And so I'm not requiring everybody to use Encore. I'm telling you why we love Encore. Encore is the house, the electronic house that houses the most current approved, IRB approved protocol and IB. And it is the easiest way for me to find what protocol or amendment are we dispensing out of. Are we treating the patient out of? It also houses patient information. It gives us participant ID information. It tells us if they're still on or off treatment. It lets us know how many people are still on treatment. It's really user friendly, and it's a great way for us to identify protocols. The reports that I can also run in Epic to see what we're doing. It's really user friendly, but more importantly, why it's user friendly is because we're getting Vestago. So what Vestago is it is an electronic database that helps us with accountability logs. And so pharmacy, we've signed the contract. We have not set a date where they're going to come and install it, but it interfaces with Encore, and it also interfaces with Epic. And so it increases and safety of patients, increases the accuracy of dosing and the safety of patients. I think safety of patients is absolutely like top of our priority. It also helps us make sure that we'll have drug for when the patient comes in. And it also will help us with billing. And so I know that that's an extra, but that is part of my job. And so it will release some of the burden. And I think that's a great thing for me. So in summary, I've talked about interdisciplinary efforts are key to success, teamwork. We discussed what and how we manage a protocol. We've identified some areas where we can work together. And then if anybody has any suggestions that you need from us that you're not getting, please let us know. I know that there's room for growth, and I know that we can make it better, but sometimes my box is just this big.